Austin, Texas. I'm going down to save my soul. Get that barbecue and chili, eat my fill and come back home. I'm gonna take my baby with me. We're gonna have a high old time. We're gonna eat till we get silly. Sure do make a beer taste fine. Oh, mama, ain't that Texas cooking something? Oh, mama, stop your belly and backbone bumping. Oh, mama, ain't that Texas cooking good? Oh, mama, eat every day if I could. Well, I know a man that cooks armadillo, tastes so sweet he calls it pie. I know a woman makes pan dulce, tastes so good it gets you high. Get them enchiladas greasy, get them steaks chicken fried. Sure do make a man feel happy to see white gravy on the side. Oh, mama, ain't that Texas cooking something? Oh, mama, stop your belly backbone bumping. Oh, mama, ain't that Texas cooking good? Oh, mama, eat it every day if I could. Well, I know a place that's got fried okra, beat anything I ever saw. I know a man cook cabrito, it must be against the law. We gonna get a big old sausage, big old plate of ranch-style beans. I could eat the heart of Texas. We gonna need some brand new jeans. Oh, mama, ain't that Texas cooking something? Oh, mama, stop your belly and backbone bumping. Oh, mama, ain't that Texas cooking good? Oh, mama, eat it every day if I could. Cooking something. Oh, my mama, stop your belly and backbone bumping. Oh, my mama, ain't that Texas cooking good? Oh, my mama, eat it every day if I could. Oh, my mama, ain't that Texas cooking something? Oh, my mama, stop your belly and backbone bumping. Oh, my mama, ain't that Texas cooking good? Oh, my mama, eat it every day if I could.
Oh, that's a good song. That's Texas Cookin'. That's from a guy called Gary Nicholson. That's from an album called This One's For Him. It's a tribute to one of the best songwriters in the world, in my opinion, the best, a fella called Guy Clark. And that's been sent to me, thank you very much indeed, by Roger and Sandra Lennox of Castle Dawson. And that's an album that was out last year, but I missed it for some reason. It's fantastic. I'm going to feature this album today. It's all covers of Guy Clark songs. Lots of things happening today. The demise of Whitney Houston, of course, the thing that's hitting the headlines. But I have to say now, this is one program you will not hear. I Will Always Love You.
Oh, thank God.
I know. I've already heard it 3 times on 3 different radio stations whilst I was driving in here today.
Same as this.
I am not. See, but you hate everything. You know,
No, I was never a fan of Whitney Houston.
I
mean, it's sad that the girls died and
is, yeah,
all
yeah,
that.
yeah,
You know, naturally enough, you know.
I think that song is the worst song in the world.
Oh,
it's just interminable.
Now
Stop. I know there's a lot of hate and anger in you, but you know, let's not use this. Let's transfer this.
It's lack of sleep.
I know you're not yourself.
It's lack of sleep.
No, but see, what's happened to you is, and I know what's happened to you, you've had a week of severe illness. which culminated, I suppose, in a kind of a hiatus whereby the symptoms went away, but then
No.
you're drained.
And
You're
they're not
drained
away.
because of the illness.
They're not away.
Are they not?
No, I thought they
They're
were
still
away.
there.
I thought they were away, and I had a very, very bad weekend of
Tossing and turning.
Oh, talk about the Ivy League. Sleep.
Tossing and turning.
You know
Ivy
that
League.
sleep.
Yes.
Napnea. Is it?
Excuse me?
Sleep napnea or no,
What are you trying to
I'm
say?
there's a word there I can't get. Sleep apnea or sleep sleep
Nappy?
napnea apnea sleep apnea.
What are you talking about?
I don't know what I'm talking about. Is it sleep apnea?
What is that?
You see, you don't even know. You see, I've got this wretched, very, very heavy head cold, right?
Yes, yes.
And you think you're all right during the day, like, right? Mm-hmm. And then you go to bed at night, and you're all blocked up, and then I stop breathing. You see, with this apnea,
Some people call that death.
right?
Yeah.
And then you're like a big hippopotamus giving birth. You're big roaring out at you.
Wonderful image, Sean.
Yes,
Thank you for that.
You see,
Yeah.
and then I'm all, and you're tossing and
I noticed
turning.
there was something very wrong with you today because when you come in to tidy up in the kitchen today, you sloshed the water all around the floor.
I was very no.
It's not like you.
No, it wasn't.
You made more dirt than you cleared up.
So I haven't had I have a very bad, very, very restless weekend. Very, very
That's
restless.
good. Well, I'll try and make today as gentle as possible.
I'm very tired.
Oh, you just sit there and don't you annoy yourself. I'm just telling the
What
people
is there a cure for that? Could anyone let me know, please?
for sleep apnea.
Apnea.
I don't even know what it is.
No, you don't.
I'd never even heard of it.
I hope you never get it. Can be quite serious.
You're never without a pain or an illness.
You can.
It's a terrible thing. I hope you recover. I would hate to think that this is your last year on Earth, especially when it started so well. One of the things
Hear me puffing and
I
panting.
hear you. It's like an obscene phone call.
That's shocking.
God, I may have to turn off your microphone. Women will be getting excited, although probably not. One of the things
I'm all clammy.
yeah, good. Just move away there, Emma. Keep a wide berth. Let's start the program for the benefit of the people who are expecting something to listen to. Good morning, everyone. It's Monday. Number to ring if you want to contact this program is 08459 555 678. We'll be starting with snippets from the newspapers. Email address is derry.anderson did I say Derry? John Anderson?
Yeah,
Gerry.anderson at bbc.co.uk. It's the old City of Culture thing's got in my blood. And there's a text messaging service that you may use if you're unhappy. Listen to you.
To hear me, I must apologise to people at home. And also, you annoyed me on Friday morning too as well. I could barely hear you on Friday morning broadcasting. You do whisper, all right. You do whisper, and you can't hear you at
That's
times.
not my fault. It's the people up there.
No,
people up
you
there in
whisper.
charge there's people up there in charge of microphones. It's different here. I'm in charge of my own microphone here. It's not my fault.
People
up
can't
there.
hear you here either.
Well, that's because it's too far away. They can't hear over the mountain. Anyway, the text messaging service is 81771. I'll have a word with the technical people up there. Maybe they can do something about that. Have you seen this thing in the newspaper today that there's a dating website and that Northern Ireland have been declared the ugliest man in the world? Does that surprise you?
Is that right?
Yes, the ugliest man in the world.
In the world?
In the world.
No.
In the world.
No.
Yes, the world. Norway, Sweden, Scandinavian countries come top. Brazilian, Spaniards, Portuguese, what you would expect. French people, down at the very bottom. Northern Ireland. Republic of Ireland is above us. But all you have to do is look around you.
What about
Look at
Scotland?
you.
What about Scotland?
Scotland's above us.
Wales?
Above us.
Gee.
We've won. But when you look around you, you know, when you can see it somehow, can't you? Listen, something happened to me. I'm going to do a little guessing game here. I was out at the weekend, as I sometimes do, in the middle of people, and I met people who are familiar with this program. A number of people, couples, whatever, addressed me and said, "Are you Gerry Anderson?" And one woman would come up to me, when you hear this, one woman would come up to me and says, "It's great to see you out." I said, "Yes, it's great." She says, I was in a taxi. She says, "I'm from Belfast." says, we're up here. A lot of people visit Stroke City at the weekend. And nearly everyone I talked to wasn't from the city. So people are starting to come up and visit this because they hear all about it and walk over the Peace Bridge and look at the things that we have. And incidentally, our Ebrington Square, our big army base, which is open to the public tomorrow, that's a big thing here. And Brona Gallagher, actress, will be in here after 11 o'clock. She's appearing at that, and she's going to tell us all about that. We'll be talking about that. Anyway, a lot of people are coming up to Derry, Stoke, Londonderry to have a look around, walk the Peace Bridge, look at the alcoholics. You know the things
Stop
that we,
it.
the things that we do. And she said to me, I was in a taxi. I said, yes. And she says, and he had the radio on. And I said, could you not get U105? And he says, no, we don't get it up here. Did you not get U105 up here? I said, no, you can't. He says, but what are you doing up here?
He said.
No, she said to me. And she said, you're on some... She said, no, you're not listening. She said to the taxi driver, can you not get U105 up here?
This is in Derry?
Yes. She
Right.
said, can you not get U105 up here? And she said, no, we can't get that up here.
Yeah.
And she said, why not? And she said, so what do you think of that? To me. And I said, oh, well, that's the way it is. And she said, and you're on a Sunday night now?
You?
She thought I was George Jones.
Oh, no.
I never said nothing. I just changed the subject.
All right.
You know, there's no reason to say to people, you think I'm George Jones, don't you? You can't do that because it makes people embarrassed. Anyway, but this other woman said, I went up to this other woman, and she's not from here. She's from another place in Northern Ireland. And
Where's she
said,
from?
I'm not going to tell you.
Why
because,
not?
All right, then, Ballymena.
Yeah. Why are you trying to deny
Because I might
Ballymena?
embarrass her.
Why?
Because she might know who she is.
There's more than her living in Ballymena.
Oh, will you shut up? You're not the same since you were sick. I remember you used to be able to sit there and I could say nearly anything, and you'd not question it or call me a liar. Anyway, I'm going to do a little guessing game. I want you to guess the word that she said, right? She said...
You're going to do a little guessing game.
No, I'm going to ask you to do it. I'm going to ask you to guess the word that she said.
Right.
I'm going to give you the sentence, and you have to guess the word.
Can Emma join in?
Anyway,
I need help today. I'm weak today. I'm vulnerable.
Yourself.
Yeah,
Do it yourself. And she said to me, she said, my God, I've finally met you at last. She said, I listen to you on the radio all the time. I said, thank you very much. That's what I always say. Thank you very much indeed. She says, I can't believe you're so... What's the word? You'll never guess.
Tan?
No. Ask Emma.
No, I'm not going down that road, Emma. I can't believe you're
so... You'll never guess the word.
So tall.
No.
So...
Starts with T.
So tiny?
Yes.
Tiny? I don't believe you.
She said, you're so tiny. I've never been called tiny before. And I said,
I said that to you before. Isn't that right, Emma? I've said that to the girls.
I'm not tiny.
Yes, you're getting smaller.
I'm not getting smaller.
You are.
What am I, this incredible shrinking man here?
Emma says you're now smaller than her.
That's because she's pregnant.
Well,
she's like a side of a house.
No, but you are. You are.
I'm not getting smaller, but I'm not tiny.
No, but you're getting small. The girls are worried. Emma and Janet are worried about you.
It's only the radio's got small.
No.
I have been training.
You're a wee man now.
No, I'm not a wee man.
You are a wee man.
I've lost a little weight.
Oh, you have.
I have. I'm down now to 11 stone exactly.
But you're at your height.
What do you think? I'm shrinking?
Yes.
I'm not shrinking.
You are.
I'm wearing low shoes.
You're a wee man.
I'm not a wee man. But I'm not tiny. What am I?
Yeah, you are.
Jimmy Clitheroe?
Oh, you
know?
You know, there was
Stop it.
There was a time you were 5'10".
I still am.
You're not. You're anything but.
What do you think I am?
I say you're about 5'5" now.
You mean I've lost 5 inches?
Yeah.
Say nothing, Emma. Anyway.
There's a wee call for you.
Is there? Better take it then to get out of this. Good morning. Emma, will you fix that thing, please? Emma, will you fix
What?
Emma, will you fix the thing?
It's there.
Emma, will
What
you fix
side
the
are you
thing?
on?
I don't need to talk to you because I know what you've done. You don't know how to do it.
Eh?
Emma.
Hello, Ronnie. Say hello,
Hello, yeah.
Ronnie.
Hello,
Hey,
Ronnie.
say-
How are you? He
I think
wasn't there a
somebody-
minute ago.
We didn't
Sleep
do a
apnea.
thing.
Sorry, Ronnie. Sorry.
Not to worry. Is that BBC?
You can tell, can't you?
BBC is Bring Back Coyle.
No.
Forgive me.
No, but he's-
Forgive me, Gerry
he
Michael
hasn't-
Anderson.
He hasn't
sir.
gone away, you know. What?
Bring Back Coyle.
What?
I'll repeat it again.
What does this mean?
Bring Back Coyle.
What does this mean? We have to explain yourself.
Well, anyway, somebody is complaining about sleep apnea.
Sleep apnea, yeah.
My dear wife, who is SRN-SCM,
Yes.
you know what that means, of course,
Yeah, she's...
as you went to the same premises on the University Road.
Indeed, yes.
Now, she suffered from that for many years, and being in that profession, should immediate access to medical help.
Yes.
It's a long-term problem, and whenever that noise appears, that's the noise of the air leaving your lungs, and all that Mrs. Coyle has got to do is hit the nice, kind gentleman a slight dunt in the ribs.
I think she's been doing that for years. Well, there you are. Your wife has to thump you.
No, not thump.
No, what?
No. It'd be different if it was you. I would gladly thump you, sir.
So what? If I'm sort of gasping for air, what do you say?
Oh no! If you were gasping for air,
but that's
if Mrs. Coyle just hits you a gentle nudge in the ribs.
He's like a goldfish out of water.
Exactly. So.
Do you notice the
As
tone
simple
of,
as that.
You know,
my
there's no
poor wife
sympathy here.
has to leave the bedroom. She can't take
What else is new?
So I should repeat what I said. BBC, bring back Coyle.
Oh, you mean revive him? Bring him back from the dead?
Bring him back.
What do you mean? But
Keep him back.
he hasn't gone away, you know. He's still
fact-
there. He's there. What do you mean? You can't bring a man back.
Give him the program. Give him the
What?
program on a Friday morning while you're down in Belfast.
That's
What
a
do you
good
mean?
idea. It's a good idea.
Sick.
Yes.
I'm going to have to turn this
Goodbye.
man off. Goodbye. Obviously, this man is completely insane. He should be in a straitjacket. Gerry, whatever happened to all the old boys who used to wear faded suits and colour-coordinated flat caps? That's the fellas who used to be in pubs in the Republic of Ireland. They've all gone away now. This because they can't smoke and the guards are breathalyzing them in their tractors going at 20 miles an hour. The suits and caps were Sunday best. They were well past their best. When I was a kid, the men of a certain vintage were universally attired in such faded clothing. I used to marvel at the farm labourers who used to turn up for work in three-piece suits. I wonder why this fashion had disappeared. I think a statue should be erected in the memory of these old fellas. That's Ian Duncan and Oma. That's a very good point, you know. Men used to always wear suits, no matter what. That's because, do you realise that
I could never wear a waistcoat. Do you know that? You could wear a waistcoat, but I couldn't because I'm the wrong shape.
I know you're the wrong
You're
shape.
the right shape.
You
Although recently you're the wrong. You have been the wrong shape.
I'm still the right shape.
No. You've a wee bit of a sticky Eddie.
I'm still the right shape. There was a time I had a little belly, but that's gone now.
Yeah.
Look, where is it? Can you see it? Look, I'm sitting normally. Where's my belly?
I
can see yours from here. It's
Yeah,
like
no.
you're like a hippopotamus having a baby.
I know.
No, but that's true, you know. Do you know one of the signs that sobered me, and I have to say, no, one of the reasons why men used to always wear suits was because before the 60s, there was no such thing as casual wear. You know that, don't you?
Yeah.
Because nobody had jeans or anything, or nobody knew, you know, slacks. Nobody had those. You always just wore a suit. And do you remember the retreat?
They're always shiny. The trousers were always shiny.
Young Catholic men like us, we were always forced to go to chapel. And remember at 6 o'clock in the morning, and these men would talk about these sermons about how sinful we were. Do you remember the Christmas tree? Remember the Christmas tree sermon? Your fellow used to stand up and say, they're all from the south of Ireland. He said, look at you down there, young men of Derry. Little do you know, approaching manhood, the pitfalls that are in store. And I have to say to you now, that if you commit sin, you'll be thrust into the bowels of hell. And many of you have no conception of what hell is. Let me tell you what hell is. The heat of 1,000 million Christmas trees. I used to think that was great. Because you know the way a person is telling you how hot hell is? You say, oh, it's 100,000 trees. But that doesn't mean anything to you. But you see, they knew to say, Christmas trees. Because you associate Christmas trees with nice things. And you don't realise that
Why
when
is a Christmas tree hot?
No, it's not hotter.
Well, what
but
do
you
you
see,
mean?
it'll strike terror into your heart if they say Christmas trees. Imagine you being burnt in a Christmas tree.
It's not nothing to do with burn. What?
You don't get this at all.
I don't get what you're saying.
All right, then, let
Hotter
me-
than 1,000 Christmas trees or 1,000,000 Christmas trees, wherever it is.
Burning.
He didn't say burning.
What is wrong with you? Don't you understand the English language? He said, hotter than the heat generated by 1,000 Christmas trees being burnt.
No, you didn't say being burnt.
I'm saying it now, right?
But you didn't say
No,
it
but you see, if you
before.
said
I
1,000
saw Christmas trees with
If you
lights
say,
on
if you
them,
said 1,000 trees
and
been
Emma
burnt,
saw them. You see, you didn't describe that well at all.
do you renounce the devil? I do. Anyway, we used to go there every year. Do you remember? You went at 6 o'clock in the morning, you went back
got
at
a
7
suit
o'clock at night.
to finish it.
And you always had to get a suit.
Or something new?
Yes, and what do you mean something new? You had to get a suit.
No, not necessarily.
You had to get a suit.
I remember.
What else would you get?
Well, I'll tell you what
A
I
jumper?
got. I'll tell you something I got.
What?
And I regret it to this day. I regret. I got a new overcoat. And the sun was splitting the streets. It was the most beautiful day, a Sunday afternoon, when we went to close the street. It was the most beautiful day. And everyone was walking down.
Oh, you announced the devil all his pomps and circumstances.
They were all walking down through Brook Park, down through,
Ah.
and they all had their nice suits on them.
Heady
all the
days.
other boys. And there was me with an overcoat.
I know.
Because it was new.
You've
And I
ne-
wanted to wear it.
You've
And
never-
it was far too warm.
You've never fitted in, have you?
No.
But
Do you know
anyway, the
sort-
point
do you know
was
sort- I
the
want-
point.
it
What?
was- Jim, do you remember the overcoat? Do you remember the sort of foam coats? And they were shiny. They were different tones. Sometimes they would look purple. They would look blue. Do you remember those days?
Yeah, you should call them the chameleon suit.
I had one of those.
The chameleon
I
coat.
closed the retreat with one of those.
All right, okay, that's good. That's excellent. That's good. Now let's continue that
I
on
haven't
another
got-
day.
I haven't got over it.
Anyway, we used to always get a suit, and the reason why you got a suit is because you could wear that, you see, all the time. Because you'd no jeans or anything, and you'd no kind of trousers, you'd nothing like that. All you wore was a suit, so people wore suits all the time. I'll tell you a terrible, strange thing that came back to haunt me.
I only had one tie.
I know. And even if you had soup on it, you still had to wear it.
That's right.
I remember seeing a man on the beach with a three-piece suit, and he took off his shoes. He was sitting on the beach with a three-piece suit, and a shirt and tie, and he took his shoes off. He was sitting in the sand. I'm going, and the socks were black, black socks. They're sitting there, you know. But the worst thing I ever saw, and this is the thing that jolted me back into reality, and this is a kind of a surreal tale, and I'll make it as short as I can. When I lived in Dublin in the late 60s and early 70s, I used to be making quite a lot of money playing in show bands and stuff like that. And we had a guy who used to make all our band suits, right? A tailor, a little Jewish guy. His name is Paddy Sweeney. Not a Jewish name, but believe me, he used to talk like that. Give me your suit. I'll make you a suit. Make you a lovely suit. Look at you. And he took a liking to me because he said that I was the perfect shape for a suit because I was very thin then. And he said, I'm going to make you a nice tweed suit. I'm going to make you a 4-piece. I said, 4-piece? I'm going to make you a 4-piece tweed suit. And I said, a 4-piece tweed suit? He said, not charge your cost. Won't charge you no money. And at that time, like half price. So he made me a suit, which a 3-piece suit, and an overcoat. Exactly the same, tweed. And it was lovely. It was lovely. And I used to walk out in this, walking down Grafton Street. Well, walk along the wobble along with an independent air. You can hear the girls declare he must be a millionaire. You can hear them sigh and wish to die and see them wink with the other eye at the man with the 4-piece suit from Derry. Anyway.
A 4-piece?
4-piece suit.
That'd have been awful looking.
Oh, it wasn't. No, it was great. Anyway, never mind that. Anyway, as time went on, I used to wear the coat just, and I stopped wearing the suit. And I was home at one stage, and I took a suit. I had the suit with me, and I took it off. And then I went back to Dublin. I never took it back, and the suit was there.
Where was the suit? Where did you take the suit off? I missed where you took the suit off.
I came home for a week, and I
You're-
brought some clothes with me, and I was wearing the suit when I came, but I had other clothes.
So you left the suit here?
I left the suit
Yes,
at
yes,
home
yes.
in my own wardrobe in my bedroom.
In Sackville
okay.
Street?
In Sackville Street, in Londonderry,
Okay, right, okay.
which is a part of the United Kingdom.
Right, okay, let's go.
Right? So,
Right.
and I left it there, and I heard nothing more about it, and I forgot all about it, and I went home, I went back to Dublin, and I went to the America and everything, and I came back, and I went down to visit my uncles down in Donegal. I had 2 uncles who lived in a little cottage down there, and they had cows and stuff, you see. And I went down one day, and I was fiddling about, and there's nobody there, and somebody says to me, how's your Uncle Man? He's up getting the cows. And I said, I must go over for the crack, but lovely day. And I went over. I went over to see, and I could see him in the distance going over, and I went over, and he was coming back with the cows, a big stick. He was wearing my 3-piece tweed suit.
That was the cow, wasn't wearing it.
Oh, you hate everything, don't you?
No, I don't. That's all
No,
right.
you just
That's
ruin
okay.
everything. But I hadn't seen it for 10 years. And then suddenly it just came back to me, there's my suit. Mm-hmm. My God, there's my suit.
Where'd the overcoat go?
I still have it. I wear it when I go on TV. That's why you never see it.
Oh, hey-ho.
Here's a lovely song. It's called The Guitar. Guy Clark song.
I was passing by a pawn shop in an older part of town when something caught my eye and I stopped and turned around. I stepped inside and there I spied in the middle of it all was a beat-up old guitar hanging on the wall. What do you want for that piece of junk? I asked the old man. He just smiled and took it down and put it in my hand. I said, you tell me what it's worth. You're the one who wants it. Tune it up, play a song. Let's just see what haunts it. So I hit a couple of chords in my old country way of strumming, and then my fingers turned to lightning. Man, I never heard it coming. It was like I always knew it, but I don't know where I learned it. It wasn't nothing but the truth, so I just reared back and burned it. Man, I lost all track of time. There wasn't nothing I couldn't pick. Up and down the neck, man, I never missed a lick. The guitar almost played itself, and there was nothing I could do. It's getting hard to tell who was playing who. When I finally put it down, I couldn't catch my breath. My hands were shaking, and I was scared to death. The old man finally got up and said, where in the hell you been? I've been waiting all these years for you to stumble in. Then he took down old dusty case and said, go on, pack it up. You don't owe me nothing. And then he said, good luck. There was something spooky in his voice, something strange on his face, and when he shut the lid, I saw my name was on the case.
That's a track called The Guitar by Ramblin' Jack Elliott. Not written by Ramblin' Jack Elliott. It's from This One's for Him, a tribute to Guy Clark. It's a Guy Clark song. I'll be playing some more tracks from that album. It really is something special. We'll be back after the news with Brona Gallagher.
On 92 to 95 FM
and 1341 medium wave.
This is BBC Radio Ulster.
BBC News at 11 o'clock with Sabrina Sweeney. Plans for the rationalisation of Catholic secondary and grammar schools include the closure of at least 5 schools and the amalgamation of others. And while official church policy remains the abolition of academic selection, that issue still hasn't been resolved, as our education correspondent Maggie Taggart reports.
Catholic bishops have for years been trying to convince Catholic grammar schools to give up using academic selection, but they have defied that policy and have been using entrance examinations for the past 3 years. The Commission for Catholic Education now says it has been a fraught issue, which calls for great wisdom and courage from school leaders. The latest plan is for a phased abandonment of selection with no deadline. The review of education also tackles the falling number of pupils and demands on individual schools to offer pupils a greater number of subjects. It's recommending the closure of at least 5 schools and the amalgamation of others, including grammar and secondaries.
The Attorney-General John Larkin has ordered a second inquest to be held into the death of a Hillsborough schoolboy who died in 1994, days after getting the combined measles and rubella vaccine at school. The original inquest into Christopher Coulter's death a year later concluded that he died while having an epileptic fit, even though there was no history of epilepsy in the family. The Coulter family solicitor, Porrick O'Murray, says the issue is a matter of public interest.
There may be other families there whose children may have been affected. The original inquest, of course, didn't explore in detail the issue and came to findings without a body of scientific knowledge that's available today, which was crucial in the Attorney-General's decision.
The Secretary of State for Scotland, Michael Moore, is meeting the Scottish First Minister Alex Salmond to discuss the Edinburgh government's plans for an independence referendum. Both sides seem to have agreed that it should be held in the autumn of 2014. Well, it's time now to get the sport with Denise Watson.
Thanks, Sabrina. Some sports news just in. Wolves have sacked Mick McCarthy as their manager. The former Republic of Ireland boss was booed and had to apologise to fans after yesterday's 5-1 defeat by West Brom. The Six Nations game between France and Ireland looks likely to be rescheduled for the first weekend in March, following Saturday's late postponement of the fixture in Paris. Saturday the 3rd of March is being tipped as the probable new date, and a decision is expected shortly. The apologies issued by both Luis Suarez and Kenny Dalglish following Saturday's controversy at Old Trafford were the result of direct intervention from Liverpool's American owners. Finally, cricket in Ireland are playing Kenya in Mombasa on day 2 of their ICC Intercontinental Cup game. Kenya require another 84 runs with 3 wickets remaining.
And now the weather forecast with Lindsay Armstrong.
It's an improving story today. Rain will clear away to the southeast and it will dry up and brighten up as cloud continues to melt away. The best places for catching some brighter or sunnier spells will be in the southeast and also in parts of Derry and Fermanagh. Temperatures are still on the mild side with highs reaching 9 degrees, but it will become increasingly breezy, particularly along the north coast.
BBC News.
BBC Radio Ulster. Travel news.
In Derry, the Limavady Road has been fully reopened following an earlier collision close to the entrance to Strathfoyle. In South Down, the Moyad Road near Kilkeel is closed for roadworks from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. each day until Friday. A diversion is in place via Bryansford, Newcastle, Annalong and Kilkeel. And at Belfast International Airport, the 5 to 11 Aer Lingus flight from Heathrow is due at 11:45. Aileen Moyna reporting.
Travel news on BBC Radio Ulster.
On Talkback with Wendy Austin today, £26,000. That's where the government wants to cap benefits. 3,000 households in Northern Ireland get more than that. Is the coalition right, or are they picking on the most vulnerable? Academic selection to stay for now. The Catholic Church bows to pressure from the grammar schools. And is it parent power at work? Also on the programme, is Suarez really sorry if he only apologised after his bosses told him to? And are Northern Irish men really the ugliest in the world? Surely not. A new dating site says so. Prove them wrong. Join the debate on Talkback at 12.
Just thinking there, £26,000 a year in benefits, that's nearly your wages.
I should be so lucky.
You've nearly reached that. If I get £26,000 a year, I don't think I'd come in here. I'd be happy enough.
By the way,
am I going to sing now?
You've been exposed.
Right on the porch, stared into the sun, and relive the days living by the gun, when deadly games of pride were played, and living was mistakes not made, and the thought of the smell of the black powder smoke, and the stand in the street at the turn of a joke. Ah, the smell of the black powder smoke, and the stand in the street at the turn of a joke. And as always, keep your back to the sun, You can almost feel the weight of the gun, and it's faster than snakes or the blink of an eye. And it's a time for all slow men to die. And his eyes get squinty and his fingers twitch as he empties his gun at the son of a bitch. And he's hit by the smell of the black powder smoke and the stand in the street at the turn of a joke. Hit by the smell of the black powder smoke and the stand in the street at the turn of a joke.
This is Steve Earle, The Last Gunfighter Ballad.
Now the burn of a bullet is only a scar, and he's back at his chair in front of the bar, and the streets are empty and the blood's all dried, and the dead are dust and the whiskey's inside. So buy him a drink, lend him an ear, 'cause he's nobody's fool and the only one here who remembers the smell of the black powder smoke and the stand in the street at the turn of a joke. Remember the smell of the black powder smoke and the stand in the street at the turn of a joke. He said, I stood in that street before it was paved. I learned shoot or be shot before I could shave, and I did it all for the money and fame. Noble was nothing but feeling no shame. Nothing was sacred but staying alive. And all that I learned from a Colt 45 was to curse the smell of the black powder smoke and the stand in the street at the turn of a joke. Curse the smell of the black powder smoke and the stand in the street at the turn of a joke. He's just an old man now, no one believes, and he says he's a gunfighter, the last of the breed, and there are ghosts in the street and they're seeking revenge, and they're calling them out to the lunatic fringe. And now he's out in the traffic and checking the sun, and he's killed by a car as it goes for his gun. So much for the smell of the black powder smoke and the stand in the street at the turn of a joke. So much for the smell of the black powder smoke and the stand in the street at the turn of a joke.
Yeah. Let's give her a good go and make old guy proud of us.
This is Rodney Crowell, a recent guest in this program. Smart guy.
That old time feeling goes sneaking down the hall like an old gray cat in winter, keeping close to the wall. That old time feeling comes stumbling up the street like an old salesman kicking the papers from his feet. That old time feeling draws circles around the block like old women with no children holding hands with the clock. That old time feeling falls on its face in a park like an old wino praying he can make it till it's dark. That old time feeling comes and goes in the rain like an old man with his checkers find again that old time feeling, place for beer in the bars, like an old blues time picker who can't recall who you are. That old time feeling limps through the night on a crutch, like an old soldier wondering if he's paid too much. That old time feeling rocks and spits and cries like an old love remembering the girl with the clear blue eyes.
What a great song. That's Rodney Crowell, and that's a song called That Old Time Feeling from that album which I was telling you about, which I'm going to play a lot of tracks from today. It's called This One's for Him, a tribute to Guy Clark. Gentleman writes to me and said, please play Vince Gill singing The Randall Night from that Guy Clark album. A great song. I certainly will. I'm going to play it in 2 seconds after I talk to Brona Gallagher. Good morning, Brona.
Good morning, Gerry.
How are you? Oh, is that the right microphone, I wonder?
Hello, testing.
No, it's not. That's me.
Oh, that's you. Sorry about that. Now, hold on a second. How does this work? Brona, try that.
No, that's not me. That's me still.
Right, hold on a second. Try that, Brona.
1 2 1 2.
Is that it now? Is that it now?
It's not really it.
It's not my fault. It's all plugged in. Yeah, it's okay.
Oh, we need Becky Bradley in here. It's all falling
No,
apart.
we don't need him. Get out. We've got it sorted. Get out.
Hello, Michael.
Get these undertones out of
Okay,
here. You're not allowed in here.
We're keeping control.
Sorry about this. This is what happens when I
Not
get
at all.
into
We'll go out and come back in again.
No.
You sure?
No.
Right,
Just
we'll
pretend
start.
as if everything went okay.
Now we're sitting comfortably. How are you, dear?
I'm fine, thank you.
Very
Now,
good.
tomorrow is a very big day for our city here in Derry,
Very
Londonderry.
exciting, yes.
Maybe people aren't aware of it. The old Ebrington Barracks in Waterside was an old, what they called a star fort. One of the last of its kind built. It was built and opened in 1841. Played its part in the Troubles, that kind of thing. Was a barracks for the army. But now the Troubles are over. They've now given it back to the community. So a lot of work's been going on there. So it's going to be called Ebrington Square, and it's going to be a place where all kinds of things happen. It's connected to the Peace Bridge, and it's going to open tomorrow night, and you're going to be performing with a lot of other people. It's going to be a great night.
It's going to be an absolute great special night, yes. Uniting everybody, and everybody's welcome. It's a free concert. People are, I think, a bit confused by that. It's free. Everybody can get there for about 6 o'clock, which is the official opening. And then we're going to have a light show and a welcoming into the space, like a blessing of the space, I think. And then we're going to have my band are going to go on at 7. And then we have the Inishowen Gospel Choir, we have Codetta, we have the Wonder Villains, all these fantastic bands from Derry.
Wonder Villains particularly good because they're doing great stuff at the moment. They're being played in Radio 1 and all that
Yes,
kind
they
of
are
thing.
absolutely brilliant. Local Derry band. So yes, it's all going ahead, and there's going to be a chapel of love. Because it's Valentine's night,
I'm not
which
allowed
I'm sure
into
we'll have
it.
to frequent.
I'm not allowed into it.
Well, yes, no, there's loads of different facilities, and the whole space is going to be opened up, and people can actually go in and just have a good look around and see what they've done. It's a really, really spectacular space now.
The thing that strikes me about it too, it's very symbolic in many ways because there's always been a divide in the city. The river has always divided the city east and west, and it was always regarded that the west side always had the icons, had the walls, all the different things, and the water side wasn't perceived to have anything. Wrongly, I always thought. But now they've got this. This is going to be the centre of the whole city.
Yes, exactly.
Which is in the water side, which is great. It means they've got the Peace Bridge and It's a wonderful opportunity for people to get together and do things they should have been doing for years, but
Exactly.
alas,
That's exactly.
they did not do them.
Exactly. And, it's just that we change in the mind. Okay, we look over there, we have a new space now and the potential there for young people and anybody in the city that wants to try out new things, put on shows, set up their own wee groups. There's loads of room, there's loads of facilities, so it's all there. So it's ours, it belongs to the city, so make it your own.
I think the saddest thing I ever heard was I was talking to a gentleman when the Peace Bridge opened. You see, the Peace Bridge, of course, is just 400 yards, basically, from the East Bank. And it's just across there like that. And there's a park there called St. Colum's Park, which I used to play in when I was a kid. You see, I used to play in it, but a lot
150 years old, Gerry, is that what we're talking?
I was going over the bridge. You go over this bridge and then you go into St. Colum's Park. So people went over there and hadn't been there, for a while. And I was talking to this guy on a bicycle. And he said, "This is weird." We were in St. Colum's Park, and I said, "It's good, isn't it?" He said, "I haven't been here for 47 years." Wow. And he says, "I live 400 yards away." Isn't that amazing?
No,
I mean, that's the type of thing we're talking about.
Yes.
But what about you? What about you? You've got a new album and everything.
I have a new album, yes. I'm going to go next week and master it, as they say. And we're going to play the album tomorrow night again. We played in Sandino's there before Christmas. So we're ready to go. And we have one show here. And then on Thursday week, the whole band's going to London. And we have a huge concert there in Bush Hall in the Uxbridge Road. So and we have a lot of people that have been very excited about the record, so they're all coming to hear it. So yeah, it's really good. It's turned out. I'm very happy. I produced it myself.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I produced it myself. Yeah, I've always been told you should produce. You should produce.
Arse.
Yeah, so I did, and it's great. No, we've just been taking our time and making sure it's all ready to go. So no, we're very happy.
What's it
Myself
called?
and
What's the
Connor.
title of it?
I think it might be just my name. There's so much in it in
And
the
you
record.
and you are.
and I am. Jodie Foster. And there's so much in the record, and there's so many stories from my life and family and friends, and then stories that I just took and made up, and things that I found myself in crazy sort of situations. So there's too much to be said without giving it one title or one word. So I just think I'm opening up my heart, as it were, and saying this is who I am, this is what I've been through, this is what I'm doing. So I'm just going to call it my name. So it's
But look, that's only the musical end of your career, which people wouldn't probably have associated you with. I mean, of course, you're an actress. You've been in everything. You've been in Star Wars. You've been with Bruce Willis and John Travolta and all kinds of stuff.
Both broken-hearted, I have to say. I left the two of them in an awful mess.
What are they like? What are they like?
Great
No,
crack.
I don't.
They
No,
were lovely. I haven't
I'm
seen
not.
them in years.
No, I'm not going to ask it. I hate that when people say, "What's John Travolta like?"
He
Go on,
was
tell me what
lovely,
he's
yeah,
like.
it's great, nice, yeah.
But you've been doing all kinds of wonderful things. Tell me all the things you've been doing now. I think you're how many movies you in this year? Whatever, different plays.
3 films coming out now. Yeah, Albert Nobbs. We have the premiere for Albert Nobbs on Saturday in Dublin, and Glenn Close is coming over for a 24-hour visit for that.
Albert Nobbs, of course, is a movie that was close to Glenn Close's heart.
Yeah, exactly. It was for 11 years. She was trying to make it.
Right.
Yes,
It was about a woman who passed herself off as a man.
Yeah, her whole life. Yeah,
And,
it wasn't until her death that they realised that she was a young woman. From the age of 12, I think she was very badly bullied in the orphanages that she grew up in, and I think she was like the illegitimate daughter of a very wealthy lord, and so she was sort of shipped off. And once the man died, the money stopped coming to support her, so she was sent into workhouses to work, and she ended up running away and working in a hotel. But she dressed as a boy because she couldn't get work as a girl, so she dressed as a young boy, as a butler, trained as that, and then stayed her whole life as this. Yeah, and so I mean, it's a phenomenal performance. She's incredible, and obviously she's up for her Oscar, which she's never won. And
that's a huge movie, though.
It's massive. I mean, it's amazing, the conviction and the belief and the work that people have put into it, and Bonnie and Julia as well, the producers. But no, they've made a beautiful film. And Janet McTeer also. Janet's playing another a cross-dressing lady, and then I play her girlfriend.
There's no part for me.
There was, but you weren't available, honey.
Cross-dressing gentleman.
Yeah, there was no availability check. But no, so it's great. So it's coming out now this weekend. It opens in Dublin, and then I have another film called Grabbers, which has just opened in Sundance, which is a comedy that we filmed here in Derry, Donegal, and Belfast, and it's a kind of Gremlins meets Father Ted.
How do these movies get on in Sundance? Are they selected?
They're selected. That have to be selected by the programme. Yeah.
On merit.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, they're seen before.
Great compliment to be shown.
It's
there,
great, but I mean, it's great fun. I'm really funny, kind of crazy, believe it or not, barmaid in it. But Richard Coyle and Ruth Bradley, who are playing the leads, they're out there now at the moment in Sundance, and whisked their way to LA for a few days.
Why are you not going to Sundance?
Because I was down at the IFTAs on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Oh,
Saturday,
what were they
yeah,
like?
talking
Good.
like this.
Good.
And yeah, we went IFTAs. It was great. I was nominated for an award for the Field of Blood, which is
That's
a
right.
BBC Scotland thing. We had a great night. Myself, my mum, and my friend Ursula. We were mingling with the stars, dear.
I was there a couple of times, but I hadn't been invited this year because I hadn't done anything.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll have a word, and I'll make sure that you're the next year.
And you were also in a long run in Warhorse.
I was in Warhorse for 18 months then.
Before they made the movie, of course.
Before they made the film, yeah.
Did you know it was going to be as big as that? Did you figure that they were going to be did you know they were going to make a movie?
I thought they probably would after some point. I mean, it went to the West End then, definitely, and it was sold out sort of within 12 weeks. They'd made their money back, which was kind of phenomenal, really, for the West End.
Mhm.
And, you know, these times. But, I mean, it's such a spectacular theatre show, and the puppets were kind of the stars of the show, but the book is so fab, so it's only a matter of time. And, you know, animals and children always are great, you know, subjects for
You had a wicker horse in the stage play, didn't you?
We had two main puppets, Joey and Topthorn, but then we had maybe 7 or 8 other puppets, which are obviously the horses in battle. But no, it was phenomenal. I loved it. I mean, it's still on. It'll run for years.
Your mother, God bless her, always invited me to it any time I was in London, but I never could go for some one reason or another. But she said, "Go see Brona, go see Brona and Warhorse."
It was great.
But I never
it was a
made
really
it.
special
I
experience.
wish I'd seen it. I wish I'd seen
really,
it.
it's still on, you know, but obviously.
It's been eclipsed by the movie, I'd say, in many ways. Like.
But it's, you know, it's a wonderful thing. I'm so happy for Michael Morpurgo. He does incredible work, Michael. The writer, he has he set up this foundation in Devon where he lives, himself and his wife, and they have 3 farms that they bring children from sort of, you know, not good situations in their homes and sort of broken family dynamic. They bring them down to Devon, and they maybe have the 3-week little holiday for the young kids. Some of them, you know, that are not behaving themselves either, and they put them and work them on the farm. So they put these kids in with horses, cows, pigs, and let them, you know, do the vegetables and the plants and the whole bit, and just basically get them in touch with the earth again, as it were. And he finances the whole thing. So I think
I must give him my uncle's 3-piece suit that I used to wear and see
maybe
how
we should have you and Shawnee should go. Just send you over for 3 weeks.
No, I think we're incorrigible. Yeah. Now, the big night tomorrow night, of course, the opening of Ebrington Square, and people are urged to come along. It's from 6 o'clock until 10 o'clock.
Yes.
And you're on with your band, Codetta, Future Chaser, Inishowen Gospel Choir, the Wonder Villains, art, light, music, entertainment, a huge night.
Yeah.
So, and the actual official opening itself is at 6:40, but you can go over any time. So the earlier the better.
The earlier the better. We were on at 7,
yes.
And then every other band is on an hour after that.
Okay.
We were on for about an hour, but it's going to be fab. There's a Love Chapel, so it's Valentine's night. So it's basically to just send out a very positive message that we love our city.
Okay. And good to see you going from strength to strength, and good
Thank
luck
you.
to you, and
Good to
you're
see
lovely.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gerry.
Brona Gallagher.
My father had a Randall knife. My mother gave it to him when he went off to World War II to save us all from ruin. Now, if you've ever held a Randall knife, then you know my father well. If a better blade was ever made, it was probably forged in hell. My father was a good man, a lawyer by his trade, and only once did I ever see him misuse the blade. But it almost took his thumb off when he took it for a tool. The knife was made for darker things, and you could not bend the rules. He let me take it camping once on a Boy Scout jamboree, and I broke a half an inch off trying to stick it in a tree. Oh, I hid it from him for a while, but the knife and he were one. And he put it in his bottom drawer without a hard word one. And there it slept, there it stayed for 20 some odd years. Sort of like Excalibur, except waiting for a tear. My father died when I was 40, and I couldn't find a way to cry. Not because I didn't love him, not because he didn't try. Oh, I've cried for every lesser thing, whiskey, pain, and beauty. And he deserved a better tear, and I was not quite ready. We took his ashes out to sea and poured them off the stern and threw the roses in the wake of everything we'd learned. And when we got back to the house, they asked me what I wanted. Not the law books, not the watch. I need the thing he's haunted. My hand burned for the Randall knife. There in the bottom drawer, I found a tear for my father's life, all that it stood for.
It's a song called The Randall Knife. That's, of course, Guy Clark's song. That's from the selection of songs we're playing today. And that's by, who does that? Vince Gill, of course. And that's from the album called This One's For Him, a tribute to Guy Clark. I'm going to play one in a moment called Desperados, Waiting for a Train by Willie Nelson, which is really special. You see the stuff you hear here? Or maybe you don't want to hear it at all, but I'm going to play it anyway. Isn't it funny?
I think it's a bit flat. Sorry.
Pardon?
I think it's a bit flat.
What is?
The music. I think it needs a wee bit of a oomph.
Maybe we should get Norman Wisdom in here or somebody.
I think it's a wee bit, sameness. Huh?
What's wrong with you?
Nothing.
What do you want?
I want a wee bit
Westlife?
I want a wee bit of, something to tap along to and twiddle your toes to. Want something to lift. Give us a wee lift.
How can you lift yours? You're almost dead. For God's sake. Brona Gallagher's giving you a prescription there, for God's sake.
Indeed.
What did she tell you to get?
Fair and Foss or something.
What do you call it?
Fair.
Did you throw away the piece of paper she gave you?
In my pocket.
Oh, really? Right in my pocket? Go and tell me what she told you to get.
She told me to...
Morphine.
Fair, F-E-R-R-P-H...
Marijuana.
P-H-O-S.
What is it?
Let's look, Fair Foss, is it?
Fair Foss? Well, what's that supposed to do to you?
So how would I know? I have to take 4
What did she say it was going to do for you?
She said it'll take my head away and my stuffiness, my blocked head. It'll cure me.
Well, isn't it great that she thought about you?
Yeah, no.
Well, she's in Hollywood and everything.
She was to teach us. She was to teach us to act.
That's right. Yeah. Do you remember many years ago?
I wanted to learn how to act.
She started out in here. She started out in here in that seat that you are.
I wanted Brona to teach me how to play an angry man.
No, I don't think you need any training at all.
I wanted to play that part of Lee J. Cobb in 12 Angry Men.
You can't be taught that.
Can you not? That's what I wanted to ask her about.
No, it's talent. You don't have any.
Yeah.
Can you let Brona know that you cannot get a CD copy of Precious Soul, that's her last album, anywhere on planet Earth? Same for Juliet Turner, Burn the Black Dress. Any suggestions? Please play Brona's Johnny Eagle for my wife, Siobhan. Well, I would have, but I don't have a copy of it either. I had a copy, but somebody stole it. Well, you can get those on iTunes. You can download those on iTunes. Open Heart is the title, I suggest, for Brona's album because that's what she has. Oh, isn't that nice? That's a nice thing to say. It's strange. Look at the movie she was in. She was in Star Trek. The Phantom Menace. What was the other movie with Bruce Willis?
Apparently the levels are away to the dogs today. People can't hear us.
Sometimes that's a positive thing. So don't forget to go along to Ermington Square if you're in Derry, Stoke Londonderry tomorrow night, Valentine's Day. And if you want to make an effort, come up. It'll be great. It'll be something different. It'll be an historic day.
Will you be there?
Come along. I'll be there. I'll be there from 6 until 10 o'clock. And I see no reason why you shouldn't be there, of course. You having no civic spirit and hating everyone, you will not be there.
I wasn't invited.
Neither will all the people who will be there. You don't have to invite them. Why must you wait to be invited? Just go there.
I don't like
civic pride.
That.
Civic pride.
No,
go along. Be one of the audience.
I know, but I don't like.
I know you
interfering.
Don't. It's not. It's like when you go to the movies. Are you interfering with the movie when you go in and see it? Are you interfering with it? If you watch a parade on the 12th, are you interfering with it because you stand there? When you go and look at something?
I met a great man yesterday, and he just thinks the same about the pictures as I do. The picture.
That'll be the movies you're talking about.
Yes.
And what does he think?
Too much popcorn, and he's refusing to go.
Why don't you two get a room?
And also he doesn't like the ordinary the old popcorn. He likes the toffee popcorn, and apparently you can't get it.
Butterkissed.
Is that what it is? Butter? Oh, do you remember Butterkiss? Yeah.
You see how
but what's all you see? So he stopped going to as well. So I'm running this campaign now to get food banned from the cinema.
Do you know the stage you've reached now? And I don't want to alarm you in any way. Do you know the way there's all...
I wonder what Brona thinks about that.
I wish I should have asked her.
You should have asked her that.
One of the things that I think you should be aware of is there are 3 stages in each man's life. First of all, well, there are 4 basically. First of all, you're born. And then you're nurtured by your mum. And then you learn to stand on your own 2 feet. And then you go to school. And that's the childhood part. And you learn stuff and, you put a little foot out in front of you and make mistakes.
I can't take
then
the
second
word,
stage.
I can't take the word mum, by the way.
Okay, I'm sorry. I won't use
mother.
it again. Your ma.
No, your mother.
Your ma.
Your mother.
So you do that, and then you leave school. That's first stage of childhood, and then you leave school. Maybe you go to university, maybe you don't. Maybe you get a job. Maybe you go to England to make fire guards. Whatever you do. You do.
Yeah.
And then you get married. You see, and that's the second stage. And you reproduce.
Yeah.
And you have children, which you have, gladly, healthy, good children.
Yes.
And then you grow up. And then as they get older, they get married. And that's the third stage you go through.
Mm-hmm.
And the third stage is maybe perhaps you're a grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've reached the 4th stage after that. Hating everything and approaching death. You must realise you're in that stage. You hate everything and you're approaching death. And, just be aware of it and try and lighten up. Look at me. As a matter of fact, you know this. I'm older than you.
Yeah. But what?
Many years younger.
What do actors and actresses feel about people sitting in the cinema with tubs of popcorn and Snickers and Coca-Cola or whatever they buy?
I don't think they care because they've already been paid. They're not in the
but they're
cinema.
sitting up there and they're acting their wee heads off.
On the screen?
On the screen.
They're not actually there, Sean.
Do you understand? But
they're not there.
What do they feel? And people are sitting going, oh.
Great shows last week, kid. Hats off to Mr. Coyle, who manipulated his fader brilliantly with just one good eye, stricken by our iritis. Birdman Dickie Crow wishes it to be known that he has crossed a parrot with a rooster which shouts, "Are you going to lie in bed all day?" What a boon for housebound honeys in the fox hunting fraternity. Do you ken John Peel? Tommy, my cat, picked up his show shine box and said, "I'm off to work. I have got a pitch just outside the BBC." Oh, yes, I know them all. Donna Traynor with her blue gutties, Noel Thompson with his hiking boots, and debonair Mark Carruthers with his leather shoes made by a saddle maker in Barnsley. Tommy hit me over the head with a bronze bust of Louis Spence. Never! Picked up his shoe shine box and set off for the BBC to polish the hooves of the great and good. Finding myself on the floor, I decided not to waste the opportunity and began to clean the carpet with my tongue. I ran out of spittle behind the sofa and lay there like an old bag with a dry mouth. "So, Mr. Nolan, we meet again," I said. Stephen took his little piggy eyes away from the pies in the window and said, "Clear off. Every food outlet I go to, there you are, mumbling and cackling like an old crone." "Don't be like that," I said. "Let's be friends. Chase me around the wheelie bins like you used to before you became famous." Tommy looked towards the Black Mountain and said, "Fame lies heavy on my shoulders. I carry a great responsibility. Like Caesar's wife, I must be whiter than white. Like Lot's wife, I must never look back. Have you any salt there? And like King Henry's wife, I must keep my head whilst all around are losing theirs." "Marry me!" I shrieked, falling on my knees. Marry me, I'll give you many offsprings. Stephen looked at me with scorn and replied, you give birth to children? You're too old, ugly and crazy. I retreated back like a scalded warthog and screamed, do you think I would have children with you in the conventional way? You shall never lay a finger on me. The lights may be going out all over Europe, but this maiden intends to keep her lamp lit. Then it suddenly hit me. Geordie Tuff too must be a child of God. Why else would he cry on high, keep her lit till we get out? And as for the children I promised Tubby, I simply meant I would steal 5 or 6 sprogs from an orphanage. Lips which taste lard shall never taste mine. I go now to put more oil in my lamp and trim my wick. Indeed. Here's another flat song, Sean.
I'd play the Red River Valley. He'd sit in the kitchen and cry, run his fingers through 70 years of living, and wonder, Lord, has ever well I drilled gone dry? We were friends, me and this old man, desperados waiting for a train. Like desperados waiting for a train. He's a drifter and a driller of oil wells, an old school man of the world. Taught me how to drive his car when he's too drunk to. And he'd wink and give me money for the girls. And our lives was like some old western movie. Desperados waiting for a train. Like desperados waiting for a train. Time that I could walk, he'd take me with him to a bar called the Green Frog Cafe. And there were old men with beer guts and dominoes lying about their lives while they played. I was just a kid. They all call me sidekick. Desperados waiting for a train. Like desperados waiting for a train. One day I looked up and he's pushing 80. Brown tobacco stains all down his chin. And to me he's one of the heroes of this country. So why is he all dressed up like them old men? Drinking beer, playing moon at 42. Desperados waiting for a train. Like desperados waiting for a train. The day before he died, I went to see him. I was grown and he was almost gone. So we closed our eyes and dreamed us up a kitchen. Sang another verse of that old song. Come on, Jack, that son of a bitch is coming. Desperados waiting for a train. Desperados waiting for a train. Desperados waiting for a train. Desperados waiting for a train.
Desperados Waiting for a Train. That's a song written by Guy Clark, of course, sung by Willie Nelson. I'm grateful to Roger and Sandra Lennox from Castle Dawson who sent me that. I would have missed this otherwise. It's in many ways the best album I think I've heard for years. And it's a double album. It's called This One's for Him, a tribute to Guy Clark. And all the songs I played today, even the flat ones, are from that album. And I'm sorry there's no jizz in them. And they don't make you want to jive. But I'm sorry about that. There's nothing I could... Listen, here's things that you should be concerned about.
To say that you were caught out telling lies this morning. That the last time you told the story of your 4-piece suit,
yes,
it ended by your mother putting it into plastic bags and the bin man getting it, and a bin man was seen wearing it.
I never told that story.
Well, that's what a lady phoned in to say.
She's a liar.
Oh, God, you can't say that.
I've just said
terrible. Yeah, it's a terrible
I
thing
never
to
said
say.
that. I remember that story, and I've never changed it. It remains one of my better stories, as far as I'm concerned. And I've never, ever adorned that.
Better stories?
No, because for me, better. I don't think about an audience. Here, listen, there's various degrees of advice for you. Some flippant, some serious. Here's a man. Here's a cure for Sean. Sleep with the window open and his head outside it. That's flippant. But another man, when do you hear this?
There's a call for you.
When do you hear this? A gentleman from a private hospital. And I'll give you the details later. He said, I've just heard Sean complain about sleep apnea. Rather than tell his sister Anne, who I used to work with up in Antrim,
yes,
I thought I would tell you directly. I run a sleep apnea clinic at our hospital. I won't tell you the name of the hospital. Oh, no, I will. Kingsbridge Private Hospital in Belfast. Private. Mm-hmm. Right, okay. You don't like that for two reasons. One, it indicates you might have to pay money.
Yeah.
But secondly, it sounds good because he sounds as if he mightn't want you to pay money. And we'd be delighted to test Sean for the condition and explain about treatment, no charge.
But how would he test me? Would I have to
He's a doctor.
Yeah, but would I have to sleep overnight? Would I have to... Do you know what I mean? Would I have to go...
You'd be nervous about that, would you?
Eh?
He's a doctor. No reason to be afraid.
But
he says, will you call him directly?
But it mightn't happen every night. How long would I... Do you know what I mean?
I know it's the story of my life. No, but listen, there's a phone... Will you ring this man?
I certainly shall.
There's his phone number. You ring him, talk to him.
That's very nice of you.
Yeah, why don't you go up and get it sorted? I mean, it's making you miserable. Well, more miserable than you normally are. Yeah. And it's affecting you in many ways. So why don't you talk to this man who's got a clinic? He knows all about it. He'll tell you what's wrong with you. And if there's a way of curing you, he will do that. Free of charge. Just the words that are emblazoned that stick out.
That. I like
whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Free of charge! It doesn't matter. I'm a butcher. Free of charge! Yeah, okay, I'll do it. Hello, good morning.
Morning, Gerry.
Good morning, how are you?
Can you hear me? You're very faint.
I am not faint.
Well, you're very... I can barely hear you. I have to concentrate.
Okay, I'm sorry. That's the way it is sometimes.
I know.
Pat, is it? Good morning.
I have a question for you.
Yes?
When did you stop or start calling your mother Ma?
I never called her Ma.
Mum?
I never called her Mum. I always called her Mammy.
Well, that's what I would have thought.
That's a Donegal thing. I mean, Daniel,
I would have thought it was right across the country for our generation, yeah?
Well, everybody in Donegal calls their mother Mammy.
Yes.
And nobody I know calls them Ma. Ma's a city thing. Ma.
What about Mum?
Mum's an English thing.
Well, did you not call your mother Mum there earlier?
You call your mum if you're a Protestant.
No, you called your mother Mum this morning.
I'm only saying that because I'm on the wireless trying to suck up to people.
I tell you what I do think, Gerry.
Well,
you know, so see this thing to moving to call your mother and thinking of your mother as mother instead of thinking of her as your mammy.
Mm-hmm.
That's an aspirational thing, you know, sort of in the move towards being middle class.
I think so, yes. It's a question of snobbery.
It is.
Your mammy will always be your mammy. But you see, you can't say mammy if you're at a cocktail party.
You say mum all the time.
I do not.
You do.
I do not. I only say it.
You do. You say my mum. You say it all the time. Or you would say I've heard you ask people, "How's your mum?" I've heard you do it, and you do it all the time.
All right then.
You're
okay.
a wee snob.
How do you refer to your father, Gerry?
Me da.
Is he your
no,
dad?
I'd say my father.
Well, why not? Why is he not your dad? If your mammy's your mum.
Don't you be so sarcastic. You'll be dead soon. You'll regret all this. My father has always been my father, and my mother would have been my mammy. But sometimes when I'm talking to people, I say my mum.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because it's English.
But
We
when did you
speak
say
English.
my mother? My mother
my
would do
mother.
this for me. My mother used to make me the most beautiful dinners. My mother used to heat my trousers. You told us that story often. But she wasn't your mum then.
Nobody hates my trousers now. I've been walking around for years with cold trousers. Nobody knows what that's like if you're used to hot trousers. Putting on trousers and them not heated. I just wonder, able to come in
Gerry.
here at all? Yes?
What you might do, maybe for all of us, that what do you call this still thing for mothers is what do you call this, Mama. Yeah, if you have that Al Jolson record in your core.
Mammy, I walk a million miles for 1 year. Miles. Mammy. Mammy. Oh, you hear me, Mammy. Oh, you hear me, Mammy. He's gone now.
There's a call for you on 2.
All right, then.
Someone's asked you to tell your Mark Mulholland story.
Well, you know, Mark Mulholland, of course, last night on the second of the Billy plays, I think it started at 9 o'clock, 9 to 10:30. It was the second of the trilogy. And some people say there were 4, but I don't know. I'm just going to call it the trilogy anyway. Last night was... James Ellis wasn't in it so much because he's in England working. Last night belonged to Uncle Andy. Now, Uncle Andy, of course, was played by Mark Mulholland, who died not so long ago. But Mark did an interview on this programme shortly before he died. I think it was one of the best interviews I've ever done. Not I've ever done it, I've ever heard. And he talked about Tom Cruise and about making all these movies and about how... Do you remember he told about how he used to annoy Tom Cruise? I'll just tell you. Do you remember what he used to do?
There's something about a donkey.
Yeah. You see, what happened, they were making a movie called Far and Away, which is a terrible, terrible movie with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. It was an Irish... Hello, good morning, how are you? Top of the morning to you. One of those jobs. Directed by Ron Howard. So Mark Mulholland was in that. So what happened was that this donkey, Tom Cruise was in this donkey, and he started battered with... Who's that now? I started battered with a stick. He started battering the donkey with a stick, and Mark got annoyed about this. And he came up and he said, stop doing that kind of carry on, you know. And Tom Cruise was cheeky to him, you see.
Yes.
So they were sitting waiting to do a shot. And as you well know, sun does not come out too often in Ireland. So they needed this shot to be in sunlight. So there was a lot of clouds, so every once in a while the sun would peep out, and that's when you had to do the shot, because you had to do it in sunlight. So Cruise is sitting in the donkey, waiting for the shot, and Mark is in the shot. But one of the things that Mark realised was that he had the prerogative of calling for makeup at any particular time. See, those actors, if their makeup is bad or if they're sweating or something like that, they just go, makeup! And the girl comes over and gives them a bit of a tab. So a bit of a dab with whatever it is, a damp cloth, whatever it is. So anyway, they're sitting waiting. So Mark said, I'll get this wee bugger. So Cruise was getting fed up waiting for all this. He said, hey, Ron, what's happening here, Ron? Waiting for the sun, Tom. Waiting for the sun. Waiting for the sun, Tom. So Mark looks up, and the director says, right, going to get a moment now. I think we might have a couple of minutes here. Right, okay, right, get ready. And the sun's peeping out from the cloud. And the sun comes out, Mark goes, make up! Just to annoy wee Cruise, you see. Didn't like him at all. Anyway, I'm looking for that. I'm looking for that interview. I can't find it, but I'll probably find it by tomorrow. I looked at my whole desk today. I can't find it, but I know I have it somewhere.
Did Mark work with Robert Mitchum?
All those people, yeah.
Didn't
Ryan's
he?
daughter and all.
Didn't he work with
She told us
Robert?
all about
Yeah,
that. That's why I want to get the interview. I want to play it.
Yeah.
I want to play it to show the people what he was really like. This is Uncle Andy being Mark Mulholland, one of our most respected actors. And but he was very funny too, and he was never depressed because just before he died, actually. I was walking down, do you know where the Crown Bar is? When I'm walking down the street, and there's an office building there, and there's a security man there, standing there with a uniform on. And he goes, what about you? It was him. He says, look at him, Register. Look at him, Register.
He had a great voice, hadn't he?
I can't do it.
Marvellous voice.
I can't do it. Anyway.
There's another call for you.
Well, and here's something I want you to think about in the meantime. What is the connection between Marilyn Monroe, Roy Orbison, and Jack Lemmon?
Roy Orbison?
Yes.
Marilyn Monroe?
Yes.
And Jack Lemmon?
Yeah, they don't give an answer, but I'm just wondering whether it's probably something filthy.
I wouldn't think so.
You would, judging by some of the texts we get. Why wouldn't you think so?
Marilyn
Maybe.
Monroe. Roy Orbison. Jack Lemmon.
I'm
going to write those down.
That's a good idea. Show me it when you finish. Hello, good morning. Hello?
Two.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Sorry, you were on earlier on, but there was a lot of noise, so I had to turn you off. I had talking to do. How are you? Stop.
What?
Stop. Just write the thing down. You don't have to mouth the words.
I did.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Gerry.
What can we do for you today?
Gerry, I thought the Queen had died with the music we're playing. Very solemn music today.
Well, it's not solemn music. It's reflective. It's
Gerry,
reflective.
you can do better than that.
They're good songs. I like. If you don't like the songs, you know, it's
We
all
do
right.
like the songs. We like the crack. But, you know what I mean? Get something on there where it's got a pulse.
A bit of a jizz in it.
Huh?
All right then.
A bit of
Okay.
jizz in it. Whiskey in the jar or something.
Okay.
And listen, my favourite song my favourite story you tell is your father making you the gun.
The Tommy gun.
Aye. Play that one out someday, Gerry.
All right then.
And I'm going to give you a song seeing you were talking about that suit you were wearing.
Yes.
Look it up. The Steve Gibbons Band.
Yes.
And it's called Shopping for Clothes.
Shopping for clothes.
Shopping for clothes. And if you listen to it, it's you to a T.
All right then. I will.
It is you to a T. Check it out, and if you think it's good enough, put it on the radio.
I will. Thank you.
All right, Gerry.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking the call. Bye.
Bye. I'm sorry we're having a brass band here today, or indeed jugglers.
My favorite picture of you is one where you're staring straight into the lens. It's just a Polaroid shot someone took on the spot, no beginning, no end. Just a moment in time, you can't have it back. You never left, but your bags were packed just in case. My favorite picture of you is bent and it's faded and it's pinned to my wall. You were so angry then, it's hard to believe we were lovers at all. There's a fire in your eyes, your heart's on your sleeve, a curse on your lips, but all I can see is beautiful. My favorite picture of you is one where your wings are showing. Your arms are crossed, your fists are clenched, gone but not going. A stand-up angel who won't back down. Nobody's fool and nobody's clown. Smarter than that. My favorite picture of you is one where it hasn't rained yet. As I recall, there came a winter squall. We got soaking wet. 1,000 words in the blink of an eye. The camera loves you, and so do I. Gotcha. My favorite picture of you is one where you're staring straight into the lens.
Hold me in your arms, love. Tell me it's alright.
that there's something, cause to live and cause to die. And tell me that you'll hold me till the storm has passed, till the clouds of want are scattered and we're free at last. And tell me that we're human, tell me that we're human, tell me that you love me. Distances, conditions pull true lovers to and fro, till the soil becomes so arid that there's nowhere love can grow. For each man kills the thing he loves, and each man has to die. Factory existence, lifetime to the workhouse in the sky. So tell me that we're human, tell me that we're human, tell me that you love me. And Generation Ketamine has tranquilized our hearts, quelled the fire in our bellies, leaving only a few sparks. There will be nothing left but individuality, the great mantra of the rulers, but the privilege of the few. So tell me that we're human, tell me that we're human, tell me that you love me. Futurist, not a relic of past ideas. 'Cause if we don't make a change soon, I see streams of blood and tears. But we can turn those sparks into bonfires that rage. From Cairo to Madrid, kill the bloodlust of an age. So hold me in your arms, love, tell me it's alright. Tell me that there's something, cause to live and cause to die. And tell me that you'll hold me till the storm has passed, till the clouds of want are scattered and we're free at last. And tell me that we're human, tell me that we're human, tell me that you love me.
Some uncommonly fine songs today. That's Conor Kelly. He's a local singer-songwriter. That's a track called Tell Me That We're Human. And he's appearing live in this programme. I'll be singing his songs on Friday morning, gentlemen. And before that was a track called My Favourite Picture of You from that album which I've been featuring all day. This one is for him, a tribute to Guy Clark. That particular song was called My Favourite Picture of You by Gerry Jeff Walker. That's a name I haven't heard before. And thanks again to Roger and Sandra Lennox who drew my attention to that album. Back tomorrow. Sorry, no jiving today.